don't skip this. I need to confess something. One hug made me feel more than any kiss ever could. Sounds wild, right? But it's true. Women have left boyfriends, cheated on lovers, and obsessed over men they never even slept with, all because of a single touch, one hand placement, one slow pull in, and suddenly she can't stop thinking about him. Most men hug like friends, flat, polite, forgettable. But the man who understands the psychology of touch doesn't just hover, he imprints on her. He leaves a memory her body can't shake long after. Her mind tries to. I know because I felt it. My friends have whispered about it. And the woman you're thinking of right now, she's probably felt it too. A hug can be innocent or it can be the start of an obsession. There are 13 psychological secrets that turn a hug from ordinary to unforgettable. And number 9, that's the one that makes us crave you even when you're gone. Secret number 1, the slow draw in. Every woman feels it. There's a world of difference between the man who grabs her into a hug and the one who pulls her in. Slow, calm, steady. When a man rushes, it feels desperate, like he's afraid she'll slip away. But when he draws her in with patience, like he already knows she'll follow. Her body melts without permission. That patience doesn't just feel confident, it feels dominant. And that's the difference between being liked and being remembered. Psychologically, women are hypersensitive to pacing. Fast movements signal nervousness. Slow movements signal certainty, control, grounded masculinity. A man who doesn't rush to close the space is saying something powerful without words. I own this moment. Kai's not asking permission. He's guiding her into his frame, the quiet territory of masculine presence. I remember one guy pulled me in so fast it felt like he was clinging. My body tensed, but another man, he just rested his hand on my arm, waited and let me come closer. That second hug, it melted me. My breath slowed, my chest softened against his. And without saying a single word, my body said, yes, here's your rule. Never yank, never lunge, guide. Place your hand gently and let her follow. Apply calm pressure. Move with patience. Let her come closer on her own terms. When you set the pace, she relaxes, and that relaxation is what opens the door to desire. So slow everything down. Your words, your breathing, your movements. Because when you slow the moment, she'll replay it faster in her mind later. Trick number 2, the lower back claim. There's a reason a woman melts when a man's hand finds her lower back. It doesn't feel casual. It feels protective, possessive. It silently says, you're safe with me and you're mine. That one touch flips a switch deep inside. It's primal, instinctive. The lower back is vulnerable, close to the hips, sensitive, exposed. When your hand claims that space with calm confidence, you tap into something ancient. Strength, leadership, safety. Most men play it safe. A polite touch on the shoulder or upper back, forgettable, neutral. But the man who rests his hand low and steady, he stands out. I felt it myself. One man hugged high, safe but sterile. Another's hand landed low and firm, and my knees nearly gave out. It wasn't dirty. It was charged. It felt right. Here's your rule. Guy, don't grab. Keep your touch grounded, calm, deliberate. That's the moment she feels the difference between a boy and a man. And once she feels it, she won't forget. Trick number 3, the release delay. Most men ruin the magic without realizing it. They hug, pat twice, and pull away like they're clocking out of a meeting. To her, that feels cold, dismissive, forgettable. But the man who holds on one heartbeat longer than expected, he leaves a current running through her body. Psychology explains why women are sensitive to timing. We subconsciously expect a hug to last a certain length. Break that rhythm and her body reacts. Too quick feels like rejection. A single extra second feels like attraction. That pause makes her wonder, did he want more? Was he feeling me? Why didn't he let go right away? That's how obsession starts. I've lived it. One man hugged and released instantly. I forgot him by dinner. Another held just long enough for me to notice, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. That 1 second replayed in my head all night. It wasn't the hug itself. It was the hesitation, the question mark he left behind. Here's your rule. Don't cling. Don't rush. Just pause long enough for her to feel it. Because that moment of stillness, that's where desire lives. Don't grip. Just hold for a beat longer than usual. Then release calmly. That slight delay carries a quiet tension like an unspoken desire. Once she feels it, she'll replay that moment and it will stay with her. Now for trick number 4, the neck toe-cheek brush. There's a place on a woman's body where time seems to freeze. It's not her lips nor her waist, It's the side of her neck. Every woman knows that moment when a hug feels normal, until his cheek brushes against hers or his breath grazes her neck. That near-accidental touch, it's powerful. It bypasses the mind, hitting the nervous system directly. Her pulse quickens, breath catches, and a shiver runs down her spine. For a second, she's lost in the question, why did that feel so different? Here's the psychology. The neck is one of the most sensitive areas on a woman's body. Intimate, exposed, and full of nerve endings that react to warmth, proximity, and breath. When you linger close, not too close, but just enough, it awakens something primal. Many men avoid it, unsure of crossing a line. But the man who understands presence doesn't need to cross anything. He lets the moment breathe, letting her feel his warmth, then pulls away, leaving her imagination ignited. That brief touch, it's a loop in her mind. She replays it, wonders what could have happened if you hadn't pulled away. Imagination, not physical touch, is what sparks obsession. I remember it clearly. A man hugged me cheek to cheek, nothing more, but when I left I couldn't stop thinking about it. I found myself touching the spot where his breath had been. It was just a simple moment, but it felt like everything. Another man did the same but kept his distance. It was safe, polite, and I forgot it almost instantly. Your rule: let your face get close naturally. Let the warmth of your skin brush hers. Breathe slow, steady, grounded, then pull back as if nothing happened. Because when you act like it was nothing, she'll convince herself it meant everything. Trick number 5, the power of a silent hug. Most men ruin a perfect moment with words. They hug her and instantly speak, "You smell nice," "I missed you." Or worse, they crack a nervous joke that shatters the energy completely. Here's the truth. The second you talk, the magic breaks. But the man who hugs in complete silence, who holds her without saying a word, he creates tension so thick she can feel it in her chest, because silence forces the imagination to speak. I still remember a man who did this once. No words, just the slow glide of his hand as he pulled away. It wasn't sexual. It wasn't obvious, but my breath caught. Hours later, I could still feel it. Another man hugged me that same day, stiff, still, mechanical. I forgot him before I even turned around. That's how tiny the difference is, but how massive the impact becomes. Here's your rule. Don't be rigid. Don't freeze. When you release, move with intention. Let your hand trail softly across her shoulder as you pull back. Slow, smooth, deliberate. That lingering motion tells her body the hug isn't over, even when it is. And that ghost touch, that faint memory of contact, is what her skin will remember long after you're gone. Trick number 7, the art of firm and gentle. Every woman secretly wants both. She wants to feel your strength, but she also wants to feel your tenderness. Most men fail because they pick one. They're either too soft, hesitant, unsure, passive, or too firm, forceful, performative, trying to prove dominance. But the man who understands contrast, who blends power with gentleness, creates a hug that doesn't just feel good, it melts her. Psychologically, this is called dual emotional activation. Her body experiences two opposites at once, safety and tension. That contrast confuses the brain just enough to make the moment unforgettable. A firm arm around her back says, "You're protected." A soft hand tracing her shoulder whispers, "You're cherished." Together, they say, "You're safe here, but don't think for a second I'm not in control." And that balance, that's the kind of energy she never forgets. It's a feeling that's hard to shake. I felt it myself. One man hugged me too lightly, like a breeze. No weight, no presence. Another hugged too tightly, suffocating the connection with pressure rather than passion. But then there was one who got it just right, holding me firmly with one arm while the other hand moved slowly up my back, deliberate and gentle, almost protective. In that moment, my whole body softened. My chest pressed into his before I even realized it. My breath caught, and for a brief second all my thoughts vanished. That's the magic of contrast. That's the hug that stays with you. Here's the key. Balance your energies. One arm should hold her firmly, grounded, secure, and steady. Use the other arm to create lightness. Slow, tender, and soft. The combination of these two creates emotional dissonance, and dissonance leads to desire. When she can't decide whether she feels safe or turned on, she'll chase the answer, and the only place she'll find it is back in your arms. Now let's talk about trick number 8, the teasing squeeze. There's a world of difference between a hug that's forgotten and one she can't stop replaying. The secret, a teasing squeeze. Most hugs are predictable. They end flat, safe, and uneventful. But when you give her just a slight squeeze before letting go, firm enough to be felt but not overpowering, it creates an immediate response in her body. That controlled burst of tension feels deliberate, playful, charged. It says, "I felt that and I wanted you to feel it too." This is where psychology takes a darker turn. That one subtle move triggers reward-seeking behavior, the same kind of response that fuels addiction. Her mind will start to spiral, questioning things she can't quite answer. Why did he do that? Did he mean it? Was it playful? Or was it desire? Those tiny unanswered questions become hooks she doesn't even realize you've planted. I've experienced it. A man hugged me, held steady, then gave that little squeeze before releasing me. It wasn't rough, nor was it obvious, but my body reacted instantly. I thought about it all the way home. I thought about it before bed. It became a secret message my body could understand, and only he could send. Here's the rule. Don't overdo it. This isn't about dominance or squeezing for control. It's about creating micro-tension, just enough to say, "I noticed you," without ever uttering the words. Because when you give her that tiny jolt right before you let go, you turn a simple goodbye into something that lingers with her long after you've parted ways. Trick number 9. The break-first restraint, the craving trigger. Let's dive into the secret women can't resist, the one that turns simple desire into deep longing. It's called the break-first restraint. This is the moment when you end the hug before she's ready. You pull away calmly, controlled and deliberately, while her body still craves the closeness. This act of restraint doesn't push her away. It pulls her closer. When you end the hug first, you create a tension that lacks closure, and tension without closure. That turns into obsession. It's not just romantic, it's biological. Psychologists call it interruption reinforcement. When the brain anticipates pleasure but doesn't receive it, it keeps searching for that resolution, replaying the moment over and over, trying to finish what was started. So when you pull away before she's ready, you leave her body caught in that unresolved loop. Her mind begins to spin. Why did he let go first? Did he feel what I felt? Was it intentional? And that's when she starts chasing. Not because she wants more of you, but because she wants to resolve the tension you've created. I'll never forget a moment like that. A man hugged me slowly, firmly, confidently, then released me before I was ready. I laughed, pretending it didn't bother me. But inside, my mind was racing. I kept replaying it, wondering why he stopped when it felt so perfect. That restraint flipped the entire power dynamic. Suddenly, I wasn't in control. I was the one craving him. Here's the rule. Always be the one to break the hug first. Don't do it too soon. Don't be cold, but do it with calm confidence. End it while she still wants more. When you do that, you plant a psychological seed, an unfinished attraction. Her body will yearn for that moment that never fully happened, because now she's not holding you in her arms. She's holding you in her memory. Next, let's talk about the eye lock. After the release, most men miss the most powerful part of a hug, the moment after it ends. They let go, look away, fiddle with their phones, or say something awkward, and just like that, the energy dies. But a man who releases her and then locks eyes for just a second longer than feels comfortable, he doesn't just hug her body, he touches her mind. That lingering look, that pause makes the hug feel unfinished, as if he's still holding her even after his arms are gone. It's primal psychology at its finest. Eye contact is intimacy, raw, exposed, magnetic. When it's paired with touch, it creates an emotional current that's impossible to ignore. A hug without eye contact feels like a formality, but one that's followed by that deliberate, silent gaze, that's pure desire in its truest form. She'll feel it in her stomach, in her pulse, and in the space between breaths. It sparks 1,000 questions in her mind. Why is she looking at me like that? Does he feel what I feel? Why is he holding that gaze? And that's the key. She'll be the one who looks away first. In doing so, she surrenders control. I remember the moment that changed everything. A man hugged me, pulled back, and never broke eye contact. His gaze was calm, steady, unreadable. It froze. My breath caught. My chest tightened. The moment lasted until I looked away first, and for weeks after that single second, silent, intense played on a loop in my head. Here's your rule. When you pull away, don't rush. Hold her gaze for one heartbeat longer than usual. Calm, not intense, but certain. Let her break it. Because when she does, she won't even realize she's already chasing the energy you left behind. Trick number 11, the lingering touch exit. Too many men disconnect too quickly. They hug, let go, and drop their arms like it's nothing. Clean, sharp, forgettable. But the man who lets his touch linger just a moment longer, who lets his hand trail softly as he releases her. Now that is unforgettable. He doesn't just end contact, he leaves an imprint. That fleeting touch across her arm, shoulder, or back creates what psychologists call a phantom imprint. It's a lingering sensation that her body keeps replaying long after it's gone. It's like a whisper that echoes longer than a shout. The softness makes her mind chase it. That slow, reluctant exit telling her body, I didn't want to let go, but I did, feels controlled, restrained, masculine, and that self-control, it's magnetic. I've experienced it myself. One man hugged me, and as he pulled away, his hand slid down my arm, brushing my wrist lightly. I froze. It felt like his touch was still there hours later. I couldn't stop replaying the path his fingers traced. Every other hug that week faded from memory, clean and empty. But his it lingered like the scent of perfume. Here's your rule. Never break the moment too quickly. Let your touch fade. Don't force an end. When you release her, let your hand slide naturally, slowly across her body. Not groping or grabbing, just reluctant. Because when your touch lingers rather than cuts off, you leave behind something she can't wash away. Your touch becomes a memory, humming under her skin. Trick number 12, public hug frame control. A private hug can spark chemistry, but how you hug her in public defines your presence. When others are watching, the way you touch her shows not just her but everyone else who you really are. Most men shrink in public, hugging awkwardly, lightly, unsure of appearing too bold or emotional. That energy doesn't make her feel proud. It makes her feel hidden. But the man who hugs her confidently, without hesitation, without apology, he makes her feel chosen, safe, and claimed. Here's the hard truth. Women notice how you carry yourself socially. When you hold her with confidence in public, it doesn't just make her feel secure. It raises your status. It signals to her subconscious that you're proud of her and of yourself. That status shift ignites attraction biologically, because women are drawn to men who are desired by others. It's the scarcity effect. When other women notice you, when they feel your calm confidence, you become more valuable in her eyes. I remember once at a crowded party, a man pulled me into a calm, grounded hug. No rush, no tension, just presence. And the way he held me there like he was proud to be with me made me feel more cherished than any other touch. Certainty is the key. His arm rested firmly on my back, unbothered by who was watching. In that moment, I felt chosen, safe, protected, and proud. Then another man hugged me quick, half-hearted, almost embarrassed. That single moment diminished my attraction to him. Here's the rule. Never shrink your frame in public. Own the moment. Hug her with the same confidence you would in private. Hold your posture. Breathe slowly. Lead the space. Why? Because when other women see it and when she feels it, you rise in the eyes of every woman in the room, including hers. Trick 13, the whisper without words. Sometimes the most powerful part of a hug isn't the touch. It's the tension you don't release. Too many men either talk too much or say nothing with no presence. But the man who leans in close like he's about to whisper something personal, then says nothing, creates a storm inside her. That silence, it's louder than any sentence. It makes her crave the words that never came. This is pure psychology. When you withhold what she expects, you force her imagination to take over. And imagination, it's the most addictive thing a woman can experience. When you lean in, your breath warm against her ear, and then stop yourself. You've given her an unfinished mystery. Women are addicted to meaning. We fill in the blanks. We analyze everything. She'll go home wondering, what was he going to say? Was it a compliment, a confession? Did he stop because he didn't trust himself? And she'll replay that moment over and over, her curiosity turning into craving. I felt that madness myself. A man once leaned in like he was about to whisper something intimate. His breath brushed my ear and then nothing. He pulled back calm and unreadable, and I lost my balance. For days I replayed it, 1,000 imaginary versions of what he might have said. That silence haunted me. The most powerful words are the ones never spoken. Your rule: create space for her imagination. Lean in like you're about to whisper a secret. Let your breath linger, then pull back. No words, no smirk, just calm confidence. Because that silence, it will echo louder than anything you could have said. And when she lies in bed that night, her mind will whisper for you the truth behind the hug. Now that you've discovered all 13 secrets, you finally get it. It was never just about the hug. It was never about clever tricks, physical gestures, or charm. It was always about presence. A true man doesn't chase connection. He creates gravity. Each of these 13 moves, from the slow pull to the silent whisper, works because they tap into something deeper than mere touch. They awaken the subconscious. The slow drawing isn't just about moving at a leisurely pace. It's about showing you don't rush, that you don't chase. You command the moment, you set the pace. The hand on her lower back isn't just about positioning. Here it's about claiming space with quiet confidence. The delayed release, the cheek brush, the silent hug, the lingering eye lock, they all work for one reason. They communicate restraint, control, and stillness. They say, I'm not desperate for your attention. I direct this moment, I own it. And that's what makes a man unforgettable. Obsession doesn't come from constant attention. It comes from the unfinished moment. The moment she can't stop thinking about. The touch that ended too soon. The silence that said more than words ever could. That's what lingers in her memory. That's what makes her crave you even when you're not around. The psychology of craving. Most men think attraction is about giving everything. Attention, words, warmth. But that's not how desire works. Obsession comes from withholding. It's about creating tension that her mind has to resolve. When you leave her with unanswered questions, her imagination fills in the gaps, and what her mind imagines will always be more powerful than reality. This is the foundation of dark psychology, the art of emotional influence without words, the ability to plant a thought that grows in her mind long after you're gone, because the truth is, she doesn't crave you because of what you did. She craves you because of what you didn't finish. Somewhere between your silence and restraint, you made her feel something she can't explain but can't forget. The regret effect. Here's something most men don't realize. She won't miss the guy who rushed the hug, or the one who held on too long. She won't remember the man who tried too hard, but she will always regret losing the man who knew how to hug her just right, firm enough to make her feel safe, but with a release that left her wanting more. The man who didn't chase her, but made her chase the feeling he sparked inside her. That's the man she thinks about when she's with someone else. The man who lingers in her mind long after she's moved on. The man who leaves an indelible mark because what she misses isn't him, it's the energy he carried. Masculine energy doesn't beg. It doesn't cling. It doesn't need to fill every silence. Sight attracts quietly but powerfully, drawing her in not through noise but through calm. It's the eye of the storm. A place where every woman feels safe even when she won't admit it. So the next time you hug her, remember, it's not just about the touch. You're imprinting yourself into her nervous system, teaching her how your presence feels. A hug can be forgettable, or it can become a psychological imprint, a moment that sticks in her mind, turning into memory, a memory that grows into longing, and longing that can become obsession. But only if you leave her wanting more, because what drives desire isn't the man who gives everything, it's the man who holds something back. If this made you think twice, you've already seen the difference between men who simply touch and men who leave an impression. Hit that like button now and share your thoughts in the comments. Tell me which of these 13 secrets hit you the hardest. Don't stop here. Subscribe to Dark Psychology, where every day I reveal another hidden truth about human behavior. The truths we don't say out loud, but the ones that decide whether someone remembers you or forgets you. Because while you're still hesitating, another man is learning what you just did. And the woman you can't stop thinking about, she might just end up craving him instead. So stay here, stay sharp, and become the man she can't stop thinking.